Yo, what's good people? So in this video I'm going to be talking about the 10 fastest nuke champions in the game for Battlegrounds. Champions that can finish defenders in 30 seconds or less. Now these aren't necessarily the best champions in the game for Battlegrounds. I already made a video on that, so go check that out if you haven't already. Now these are just the champions that can finish Battlegrounds matches the fastest. I know that sounds like they should be one of the best Battlegrounds champions in the game if that's the case, but now there's a lot of other factors you have to think about when talking about the best Battlegrounds champion, like how versatile are they, which problematic defenders do they take, do they have the right utility, are they good on defense. We're not going to be talking about any of that. We're just going to be focusing on raw damage, who's the fastest nuke. So let's jump into the list, and at the number 10 spot, starting us off, is Black Panther Civil War. This guy's buff was a long time coming. They were teasing him getting buffed before I even started playing the game. The reason they said they took so long actually buffing him is because they really wanted to make sure they did him justice, make him into a great champion that many people use, and they really did do that. To be fair, his SB2 damage is insane. It nukes so many opponents. Even if your opponent is bleed immune, that big burst damage of the special 2 is more than enough to nuke them if you ramp up to max. Moving on to the number 9 spot, we have Red Guardian, who is currently locked as a 6-star, but a 7-star version will be available soon. And just think about this, he is on this list as a 6-star. He can nuke rank 3 defenders in 30 seconds as it is, as a 6-star. So when the 7-star rank 3 comes out, he's going to be nuking 7-star rank 3 defenders in like 20 seconds. A single special 2 is going to KO most opponents, and even if it doesn't, you can just land a couple of heavy attacks afterwards, and that probably will. This guy is going to be so insane as a 7-star, especially if you can get him to a high sig level. Honestly, when 7-star Red Guardian does drop, I think he's easily going to overtake Titania's spot as the best Science Battlegrounds attacker in the game. And that's no easy feat. Titania has held the top spot since 7 stars came out. She was a OG 7-star, but Red Guardian finally about to take her place, nuking defenders in a single special 2. He's gonna be so crazy. But our next champion, my first ever rank 4 7-star, what kind of trap video would it be without a little long shot in there? We all know the deal with Longshot, right? Against buff heavy champions, he's insane. One of the very fastest champions in the game. Don't sleep on this guy against champions who don't have buffs though. He's still extremely fast, he's still a nuke, but against buff heavy cosmic champions specifically, he's pretty much the fastest champion in the game. You can get under 20-second fights with this guy, get into your special 2 and just watching these cosmic champions melt with all those incinerates is so funny. What a lot of people don't talk about as well is how strong Longshot's power gain actually is. Not only does he gain a lot of power from Mystic Dispersion, but he gains a lot of power from his own bad karma as well, which just lets you get to your special 2 so fast and lets you start nuking stuff even faster. Moving on to the next champion though, we have Deadpool X-Force. I'm sure I'm not the only one when I say I am so happy we finally got a good version of Deadpool in the game, and I'm so happy it wasn't a pay to win Deadpool. It wasn't one of the Deadpools that requires a silly amount of luck to actually get, like Gold Pool or Plat Pool. Nah, they actually made Deadpool X-Force good, which most people have at least a 6-star version of, so massive W there. But yeah, this guy, he just nukes a lot of skill champions with a single special 1. A lot of other defenders, you're gonna have to go for a special 2 into a special 1, but just the fact he can nuke Nick Fury in 20 seconds, a 7-star rank 3 level Nick Fury, yeah, nah, that's actually ridiculous, and he just needs to be on the list because of that. At number 6, we have the OG King of Sting, Don't Let Spider-Woman Gaslight You. Nah, Spider-Ham is still on top. I do think there's a lot of matchups Ham can definitely do better than Spider-Woman, but we need more testing with her because she's a very new champion, so I didn't want to put her on the list anyway. But Ham is a very good substitute as long as you know how to use this guy properly. You know how to manage his nonsense, you know that you need to push your opponent to a special 2, you know to trigger your evade to get that extra poker popper on your opponent. As long as you know all that stuff, Spider-Ham can be one of the very fastest nukes in Battlegrounds. He is slightly RNG though. Those poker poppers on his basic attacks are only a 75% chance. I have had times where I've landed like 20 hits and had no poker poppers, and it was very depressing. So keep that in mind. He's not going to be absolutely crazy every match, but 9 times out of 10 he is, and he is finishing many fights in 30 seconds or less. Moving on to our top 5 though, and now we have our first bit of overlap. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, I made a top 10 must-have champions for Battlegrounds vid, basically a top 10 best Battlegrounds champions list, and Crossbones was on there. I tried to keep this video as different as I possibly could, but there's 2 champions on both lists. Crossbones is one of them for very good reason though. Not only is he one of the best Battlegrounds champions in the entire game, thanks to his insane utility and versatility. Now he's one of the fastest as well, which is crazy. He's another champion that can consistently finish fights in under 30 seconds, and one thing I really like about Crossbones is he does have a RNG aspect to him. If you get good RNG with the fury buffs of your basic attacks, you're going to finish fights even faster. But even if you don't get good RNG, you can get guaranteed furies from your special 1 and your overrun, and he's still insanely fast, and that's just another reason why I love Crossbones. Even with bad RNG, he's still one of the fastest champions in the game, and he can only go faster and faster the better your luck is. At number 4, we have the Bold Beauty Okoye, against champions that you can apply both her damage over time debuffs to, which are shock and bleed. She is actually the definition of broken. You could not give this champion more damage without her literally being game breaking. You just race to your special 2, make sure you have the vicious passive on you from reaching 50 hits in your combo meter, which sounds like a lot, but Okoye has like 20 hits in a 5-hit combo, so she reaches that 50 hits fast, don't you worry, and just watch your opponent melt. The nice thing is though, even against bleed immune champions or shock immune champions, she still has great damage. She's still a nuke. As long as your opponent isn't immune to both of your damage over time effects, Okoye is gonna cook, but she mostly makes it on the list for the defenders she can take, which actually do take both bleed and shock damage. In those matchups, she's insane, unreal. She doesn't even look like a real champion. Just look at all those shocks and bleeds stack and watch your opponent melt. It's genuinely crazy. I'm surprised they released this champion with both bleed and shock debuffs, because if they released Okoye with just bleed or just shock, she'd still be a great champion, which is the crazy thing. Moving on to the top 3 now, and our first entry in the top 3 is Silk. She was on the top 10 best champions for Battlegrounds list as well, and for good reason, man. You just get to your special 2 and win the game. Basically, that burst damage off the special 2 is so much. It does like 100k guaranteed burst damage, 85k right there, and we didn't even have that many vulnerabilities stacked on Destroyer. And this is not even taking the actual special 2 damage into thought as well, because that hits very hard. Her basic attacks hit very hard. She just hits very hard in general. She is about as nukey as a champion gets, and you can tell she was built with Battlegrounds in mind. The reason Silk is so much higher than all the other special 2 champions is she's so simple. you just race up to your special 2, heavy striker, heavy special 2, you nuke your opponent. You don't have to worry about anything else. Such a simple yet effective nuke champion that will stand the test of time, I think. But for our number 2 spot, we have a poverty 6-star. No way, CGR. Yeah, even as a 6-star, bro, this guy is still one of the fastest champions in the game as long as you're using him in the right matchups. Against tech defenders, he can still nuke rank 3s as a 6-star in under 30 seconds. And he's still nuking non-tech defenders in 30 seconds as a 6-star. Like, you're about to see him nuke this Maestro with plenty of overkill. This special 2 still had loads of hits left on it. If this guy was a 7-star, he would most likely be number 1, no doubt. That's literally the only thing holding him back right now. I know Vega has predicted they're going to release a 7-star CGR soon, which I don't know about that, man. If they are actually going to do that, I think they're crazy, because I sure as hell would not release a 7-star CGR, bro. He's broken. Like, especially for Battlegrounds, all you have to do is special 2 and a couple combos after, and your opponent just dies, and you get to your special 2 so fast because of that power gain. Such a stupid, honestly broken champion. But before we move on to our number 1 spot, I have one honorable mention. I could have like 20 honorable mentions like the last video, but I want to keep this video shorter because I know all of you have the attention span of goldfish. It's okay, I'm the same. I have brain rot as well. But yeah, we all know how much of a nuke Tigra was. She was infamous back in the old Battlegrounds days before 7-stars were the meta. And she can still nuke stuff even as a 6-star. But she's a lot less versatile until they actually have the balls to release a 7-star Tigra. Don't know if that will ever happen though. But for our number 1 spot, I'm sure most of you saw it coming. When you're talking about the fastest Battlegrounds attacker without any context, it has to be Juggernaut. The literal definition of brute force: hit your opponent, special 2, you win the game. And Juggernaut was really the first of his kind. When he got buffed, Battlegrounds was in its early days, and there was really no other champion like him. There was no other champion that could finish Battlegrounds matches in 20 seconds. Nowadays, there are plenty of nukes that can put out similar scores, but back in the day, Juggernaut was unchallenged, and he still holds the number 1 spot. I don't think Kabam can release a faster champion without literally breaking the game. But that's the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd appreciate it if you drop a like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Appreciate all of you. See you all in the next